Welcome back to part 8 of Final Fantasy XVI. Anyway, so we're going to go to Martha's Rise, speak with the lady. Okay, here we go. You're right, love.
It was good, honest work building the aqueduct.
Hello. She looks alright for an old wench. Oh, she's not old.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Would you happen to be the landlady?
Depends who's asking, and why they have an Imperial bearer with them.
For protection, which hopefully won't be needed. If you can advise me on the safest route to the west.
It's your friend here I'd be worried about. Bearers don't have an easy time of it in Rose area. Even a Stratton lad like him might attract the wrong kind of attention. And if he gets nabbed, it ain't likely to end well for you either.
Then we'll just have to stay out of the malicious way. Gav said he might be able to help us.
Yeah.
Follow me.
I like that steam in the background or whatever's cooking. That's quite a nice thing. But yeah, obviously,
Sorry for before. Can't be too wary of strangers
I
asking
know, he's
questions
returning to his old ground,
I'm Martha,
Rosaria,
old
that being treated
friend of Sid's.
like,
Said
you
he
know,
had high hopes for a bearer who joined recently.
like filth, because he's a bearer.
I expect that's you. So, where is it you're headed?
I mean, it's the one aspect I really like about the game,
We have
having him,
questions that need answering.
you know, being this bearer.
Is that so?
You know, getting to see kind of the worst of folks.
The garrison, the road through Eastpool, I bet.
Yeah,
Or it would be.
you know,
The bridge hadn't
it's just cool seeing Final Fantasy take on a more of a dark fantasy, I
We've
guess.
had no trade with the village for weeks.
But obviously, you
I did
know,
ask our carpenter
it's pretty
to
obvious
take a look at
the
it, but he went out on
The
another
Witcher
day.
was kind of a big inspiration
come back.
with the thematically in the game, at least anyway.
Happened to him.
Yeah,
Fingers crossed he's just
and it's
taken
just
his time.
yeah. One really thing recently, it's just apparently the sales figures were out again for 16, and apparently it did 3.5 million, and there's all these people
We both need that bridge repaired.
using that as some battleground as to
Sounds like the man to
Final
do it.
Fantasy being dead or whatever nonsense,
see
and
why
it's
Sid's
just
got such a
so
soft
tiring.
spot
Like, these
for
people
you.
online are so pathetic.
I'd be a new
There was
dad.
even one YouTuber who I really like, typically. It was just, I don't know, just too much of a fucking boomer, and it's,
Right. You
I don't know,
went
there's
down to
people who are
the
just so
village
obsessed
on
with Final
another
Fantasy going
bridge.
back to turn-based.
By the
Like,
fallen gate.
honestly, I don't give a shit if it's turn-based. I
Most
don't think it makes a
We
difference.
should hurry.
Like,
There's a ladder to the
say what you want, but
side
turn-based
gate.
games,
That's the
I mean,
quickest way down, if you
I
can
wouldn't mind if Final
twice.
Fantasy was turn-based
His
again,
name
like
is
I think a lot of
Bert.
people.
Should you find
But
him well,
I
tell him
really,
Martha sent you, and that he's
yeah, I
wanted
really don't think
to Eastpool.
most people give a shit. And I don't think, like, you know, there's plenty of turn-based RPGs. And for the most part, you know, I think people seem to forget that RPGs in general are quite a niche thing anyway. Like, they're not, you know, big sellers typically. And that's got nothing to do with the sales of this game. Like, Square Enix say every game underperforms. Like, the game obviously did alright, but, you know, the real reason it didn't do well was because Square Enix just don't effing market their games properly. They're just so terrible at that. Like, they, you know, they'll, you know, just advertise this, do the bare minimum of advertising for the game. Where am I going? And then be surprised that it doesn't sell well. It's like, they're such idiots. Like, you know, if you're gonna, where am I going? Yeah, you know, if you're gonna market a game, do it properly. Like, all they did was give it to a bunch of like influencers to play,
And that must be the ladder.
and then they're shocked it didn't do well. Like, getting a few streamers and YouTubers and whatnot to review the game and get early access isn't gonna really help with the sales of a game. Like I'm just not convinced that that really does much for sales, because I
What
think
was that?
most people know that
Came from under the bridge.
the people who get early access for the most part are just gonna, you know, for the most part giving glowing review unless the game is that bad. Yeah, so it just doesn't work as a marketing strategy, I don't think. Hey.
Stay down. It's over.
Come on, let's get closer. But yeah, I think you can't do the bare minimum of marketing and then just be shocked that your game doesn't sell well. Like, it's really got like 3.5 million is all right sales. It's not like amazing, but that's fine. Like your average JRPG is lucky to even hit 1 million in sales, and like games like Tekken 8, for example, only did a few million, and that's fully multi-plat. Like, there's people trying to come up with these stupid theories, like, oh, because it was PlayStation exclusive when like it came to PC and it only did 500,000 in sales. Like, say what you want, but the majority of the Final Fantasy fan base is on PlayStation, and I don't understand why people can't accept that. Like, there's people online are fucking weird, honestly. It's like,
We're just glad you're safe.
they want something to complain about, regardless of how logical it is.
Actually,
Like, I mean,
just that if we found you,
outside of
you
a
might
few
be
games,
able to
like Final
help.
Fantasy isn't like an insane seller. I think Terraria was like that kind of probably 3 million or so is for the most part your core audience. Also, I think 16 was released pretty early on into the PS5's life cycle as well. Like, typically you don't get a Final Fantasy game released that early, and it's usually word of mouth and whatnot that will do it. Like, I'm sure over the few years it might sell another million or so. Obviously it won't do 15's numbers, obviously, or like 7 remakes numbers, but it'll do alright.
We're very grateful for your help.
I don't think like 7 Rebirth did that much better, really. And obviously it did improve because it released a little bit later on. But yeah, I just think one thing I really like about this game in particular is that it just came out, it had its DLC, and we've moved on. I think like this is the approach to need to go with Final Fantasy again. I think I don't need any sequels and prequels and all that nonsense. Like, I love the 7 remake trilogy. It's not perfect. I have my issues with it. But it's awesome being able to get to play such a legendary game with such great graphics and gameplay. But yeah, I think it's just, I think that like with 17, they just have to improve the marketing. And yeah, like, I don't think it's got anything to do with the battle system in particular. Yeah, what am I doing? I could just do that. Yeah, I think I think the next game, for me personally, I think, if I'm going to be honest, I think they need to stick with 7 Rebirth's battle system.
Ah, you're back. What happened?
Stop changing up every bloody game.
We did. He's fine, and he'll have the bridge.
I think the
to
same
Western
guys,
ahead soon.
the same battle director involved with this game is with the next game, so I think it's probably going to be like this system. But yeah, like, for me, that's been the most annoying thing, is the past couple of games not really been able to fully control a party. 15 and 16. I mean, to a certain extent with 13 as well, because like you just controlled the main character, didn't you? But yeah, I think we need a full party in the next game. We need to be able to switch between them. Old school. And yeah, I think I don't want to see another modern setting. I think we've seen that enough post 7, if I'm going to be honest. I want to see like, I want to see a sci-fi setting with 17, if I'm going to be honest. Like, that would be so awesome. I think this is kind of a known thing now, but Xenoblade, the original game, was actually the original concept for Final Fantasy VII. And obviously just kind of became its own thing after that. And obviously, yeah, I'd like to see them do something like that. Not quite as drastic as that, but it would be nice to see a sci-fi Final Fantasy game. Something we haven't seen yet. Yeah, I think it'd be so awesome. If they can change it up so much with the battle systems and the gameplay systems, why can't they do it with the setting? Like, to me, it seems like it's either this kind of like more traditional medievalish fantasy setting with some variation. Like 12 is kind of a little bit more based in Turkey, and it's just a giant desert, and this game is kind of more like British, I guess, or like European sort of fantasy, dark fantasy-ish, or then it's just modern, you know, like modern, postmodern. You know, I guess the closest thing we got to futuristic was 13, wasn't it? That was the closest thing to a sci-fi. I'd like something a little bit more like that, you know. I think in terms of like the look of the game, that for me personally, even though it's like, ironically, being the most linear game, I think it's got the coolest world. Also. And yeah, I'd like to see something a bit like that. Yeah. And personally, like, after playing Rebirth, I really think that should be the blueprint of the Final Fantasy moving forward, because that was basically a traditional style Final Fantasy game. You have your, you basically have your overworld, you have your towns, some sort of dungeon areas. I want the dungeon areas to be less linear than they were in Rebirth, though. You know, we even get a car, we get, you know, we don't get an airship, but we get a boat, which is cool. And yeah, that is like, that should be what they, you know, the basis of the next Final Fantasy game and Final Fantasy in general. Not that I have a problem with the more linear games, but yeah, it would be cool. Obviously, the fact that they constantly change things up is what makes the series endure so long, and have gone on for like, what, 38 years now almost. I can't think of any other series like it. You know, it's the reason why it's my favourite series. And to kind of bring it around now to what I was kind of originally trying to say, it's why I just don't understand these fans who apparently hate on all the new games. And this kind of, I don't know, it's either like I said, it's the Final Fantasy boomers, like this particular YouTuber and other folks online I've heard, where they're just like the older games, just hate on the new ones for no reason. Like, they can't ever really come up with a real explanation as to why they're not good, just not turn-based so bad. Like, and I think that's such a terrible argument.
Understood.
And a bad criticism. And then there's just this weird thing where, I don't know, people just seem to think Final Fantasy doesn't deserve to be judged fairly, or like, you know what I mean? It's like people seem to think that it has to be like, Final Fantasy is this kind of great thing that for some reason is not judged equally as other things are, which it just does my head in personally. Yeah, it's a great series anyway. I mean, I love it. Where are we going anyway? That way. So we're going this way, aren't we? Is that the correct way? Yeah, it's this way, isn't it? We're going there. But yeah, I think people need to start giving Final Fantasy a fair shake. Like, a lot of reviewers were saying that about this game, like, just saying, you know, it's not a proper Final Fantasy, or, you know, blah blah blah. And yeah, just you know, it's what makes Final Fantasy great, being its own thing, not being afraid to change things up, but still kind of stay a little bit close to tradition.
By its parents through no fault of its own.
Yeah.
I knew nothing of what it meant to be born that way.
Yeah, as you can see, Garuda's a little bit better when it comes to these kind of like smaller enemies and being able to actually like destroy them. Yeah, because it's kind of better at bringing smaller enemies closer towards you, closing off the distance. Yeah, so that's that. Ooh. Chocobos. That's a cool looking chocobo. Yeah, we can actually fight a chocobo. Because this one looks different. It must die. Yeah, a bit like, I guess, what, Final Fantasy 12, right, where we fight chocobos. Chocobos must die. And we are now level 20. Sweetness. Yeah. That's that. Obviously, for the most part, you're killing these enemies for, like, upgrade materials and the like. yeah, you'll find that it's not like, for the most part, it's not really worth fighting every enemy, but you know, beat one or two here and there, and then you'll find that for the most part you will have all the upgrade materials you need. But yeah, what I'm most interested in with this game is how you know, eventually we're going to get all the people saying that, you know, reevaluating the game and saying it was good actually, as always. Like, there's another thing where people say that this console generation's bad or something, and there was this guy online on Twitter who was really funny. He just said he can't wait for all of these like annoying fucking you know, YouTube shills, or I'll use that word a lot, don't I? But yeah, you can't wait for all the fake gaming YouTubers to say this gen was actually good, like in like 5-10 years time, which is like the typical cycle of people online, you know. It just brings me to this, because obviously there's a problem with everything, if you've noticed. That's the motif with my commentary, but no, seriously though. But yeah, I feel like I don't know, overall the YouTube gaming space is not in a great position right now. I feel like there's a lot of like bad actors and a lot of non-gamers who pretend to be for YouTube, because it's just easy clicks making gaming content on YouTube. Unless you're me, obviously, I don't get very many clicks, but yeah, it's one thing I've noticed. You know, there's a lot of these YouTubers who make this kind of throwaway shitty content, or you know, talk about particular aspects of gaming. Like there was this video where I can't remember who it was, but there was someone, a YouTuber, trying to say that the combat in Devil May Cry sucks, while their gameplay was fucking god awful and they clearly didn't know how to play the game. It's just like, you know, that's just YouTubers in a nutshell for you. Like, skill issue makes a game bad according to these idiots. And then you got people like, you know, the ones who have to make a video every day just to get their views in. Typically, you know, they're the news regurgitators, I like to call them. The ones who, when the Switch 2 comes out, they're going to make a bajillion videos. Like, you know, Switch is easy clicks because you're getting kid clicks. So making Switch content is like, you know, the most kind of basic bitch thing. You know, it's like a lot of the Spawn Wave crew, where it's like these kind of middle-aged men who make, you know, shit content for little kids to click on. Like, I don't know, there's too many people like that. I'm not saying they all make bad content, like, they make fine content. Yeah, again, it brings me to, like, a lot of the, you know, these, like, Xbox grifters and shills, who, all these people came out of the woodworks apparently being, you know, Xbox fans, who obviously were just making Xbox content to create their YouTube channels and thinking, you know, they made all the console war nonsense, didn't they? But you guys know the usual people. Like, a lot of the people who were involved with the Discord leaks I was talking about in an earlier part, where they kind of, you know, they made the content that was, you know, they were trying to create all the fake outrage around PlayStation, trying to create fake hype around everything Xbox. The kind of people who are now trying to say exclusives are bad. You know, just the worst, in my opinion. But yeah, these people, they just kind of made all this pro Xbox content because Microsoft were giving free shit to people, and it kind of, you know, the console war crap gave them their YouTube careers. But yeah, those people are basically dying out now because they're back to the wrong horse. Like, imagine thinking Microsoft could win a console generation, even though at the best they couldn't with the 360. So, but yeah, my problem is with a lot of these people is they claim to represent gamers when actually not knowing anything to do with gaming, or anything to do with you know, or not being interested in gaming at all, and just wanting to get the easy clicks. Like, I mean, that's just the, like I spoke about in the last part about these like anti-work grifters. It's like, it's just YouTubers kind of, it was designed around that kind of content, just engagement above all else. So it kind of promotes shitty content like that, unfortunately. And unfortunately, that's kind of what the majority of the YouTube gaming space is. I think that thankfully there's a few people who fight against that, and there's actual hobbyists and real gamers. And you know, I found someone recently called Reforge Gaming who I think speaks a lot of sense and calls out all this shit, thankfully.
I see.
And I think, thankfully, there is some sort of fight back against that kind of content. Because, like, I really think we need to,
Follow me.
improve the gaming space on YouTube. Because I just feel like there's not enough genuine people out there, or people who care about it. It's just people who, it's not just for gaming in particular, but there's a lot of people who just, they care about looking good to advertisers and companies and developers and things like that, publishers, just so they can get free shit and, make their money. Which, I respect the hustle, but you guys are typically disingenuous. And your opinions don't mean shit, in my opinion.
I'm here.
Yeah. But anyway, I'll shut up about that.
Who are these people?
Yeah. I mean, the whole point of these videos is for me to go on my crazy rants. But yeah, we got these people dying of some sort of plague or some shit, I think.
Their suffering.
Mm.
To the extent that I can.
I mean,
For
just
the
put a
time
pillow over their
they
face, right?
have left.
Or is that too much? Oh, yeah. This is the blight they were talking about. And obviously, perfectly safe for us to be in the room with them. Yeah, it's basically, like the plague or whatever. Kind of looks like gangrene.
All of them.
I mean, I'm not sure how it spreads.
Every bearer forced to use their gift.
Ah.
With each draw on the ether, their bodies petrified.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's ether poisoning. It's basically like the stone mound thing in Game of Thrones, if you remember that.
There is nothing either Martha or I can do to change that. But we can at least strive.
I love how in Game of Thrones, though, like, Jorah Mormont got that. And then Sam manages to find a cure for the incurable thing. It was like the dumbest thing ever. But I mean, I think we all know how bad the writing was, and it kind of started with season 5, didn't it? Onwards, it just got progressively worse. Yeah, I think it was when like the stars of the show took over, and it became about them. And like, the showrunners D&D kind of lent less heavily on the source material. They had less to work with. It was just obvious they were terrible. Yeah. They're a bit like, I guess, the Russo brothers, the guys who did Infinity War and Endgame. But there's a lot of people who think that, like, that's great or whatever, but all they did was just, do what Disney told them to. Because obviously they did the Electric State recently with Netflix, which I haven't watched, but I've heard is absolute dog shit. Which I think we knew because it has Chris Pratt and Millie Bobby Brown, two of the worst fucking actors around. Like, when it's funny because, like, there's certain actors who, when they're in something, it's going to be great. Like Leonardo DiCaprio, for example. Like, when he's in something, that means it's fucking great because he's built a career on only doing good stuff. And for them, it's like the opposite. You see Chris Pratt or Millie Bobby Brown, it's going to be fucking trash because they'll do any shit just for a paycheck. But yeah, obviously, the reason I bring up the Russo brothers is because I don't know. I have a feeling that Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret War is going to be an absolute fucking mess because they're just quickly throwing together a story within a year or so. And they have to desperately get
We should.
bloody Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom, which, yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be so bad, isn't it? I mean, I'm interested to see him as Doom. It's annoying, though, because he's going to, I think, as everyone said, he's going to be a variation, isn't he? He's not going to be proper Doctor Doom. He's going to be a Tony Stark variant. I think they said, I remember seeing a video where someone was like, as soon as bloody, what's his name, Kevin Feige saw that there was a Doctor Doom Iron Man variant, he probably jizzed his pants thinking, I've got it. Yeah, so he's just going to be playing that essentially. Yeah, so that's going to be cool. Well, we'll wait and see. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting at least anyway. There was some like leaked images as well or something where we got to see some sort of like Hulk village or something, which seems kind of cool. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. Because yeah, I'm assuming it's going to be what they're going to do with Kang. So essentially, it's going to basically be like a giant kind of fan servicey fight thing. So we're gonna have basically Doctor Doom creating his like battle world or something, and we're gonna have all the characters fighting against each other, having to take down Doctor Doom. Yeah, because I think that, if I'm correct, that's basically what Secret Wars was, right? But obviously they're replacing another, whoever the character was in that, with Doomsday. And the whole point is to just completely reset the universe, I think. Also, what's really weird is that I think Fantastic Four is meant to be the movie that kind of reboots everything. And then they're going to have both that and X-Men kind of be the leads now. Which I'm looking forward to. Apparently they're going to even set the X-Men in the 80s as well, I think, which is cool. Yeah, I think it's just, I don't know, for me, I personally think for Disney and Marvel in general, it's just time to like abandon the whole kind of combined universe thing. You could, I think, have nods, but you don't need to worry about doing a big Avengers movie every few years or whatever. Just make a few good movies, and then you can do like something cool later on. You know what I mean? Just give us like, I think Fantastic Four might be alright though. Personally, I really like the casting. And as long as they get the casting with X-Men right, I think it'll be cool. Because it's very hard to go wrong with X-Men.
What little of it I have.
But yeah, I really don't want Hugh Jackman to continue as Wolverine now. He's just getting too old now. I don't mind him being a side character in Deadpool though.
At least by law.
But yeah, it would be cool if, yeah, just get new people. Henry Cavill as Wolverine, man, come on. We want it to happen. That was like the coolest part about Deadpool Wolverine for me. Like,
it's not all doom and gloom.
Like that actually is awesome casting.
You can carry on to Eastpool now.
Yeah, especially after being effed over with Superman. Even though I am looking forward to the new Superman movie.
Thank you.
But yeah, he was just not given anything great to work with, was he? I mean, I think he worked well as a more kind of realistic, real-world Superman, and one that could be kind of corrupted and become evil. I think obviously that's what Zack was going for with it. But the problem is Zack Snyder's a fucking terrible writer, so it was just poorly done and executed. Still though, I think Man of Steel and Batman v Superman are both great looking movies though. And do have some interesting ideas. Like, I still think Man of Steel's alright. I think it's Snyder's best movie easily. I know a lot of people shit on it. Like, the ending is insane, over the top. But I think it's interesting. I like it as a variation of Superman, and you know, yeah. Obviously, they were going for something that wasn't quite. You know, he's not. You know, your typical Superman. Yeah, it's designed to be a Superman who grew up in that particular age. You know, where a more cynical time. You know, where, you know, if we're going to be honest, if Superman was real, I think it would probably be like Man of Steel, where you would have like the government, you know, surveying him, and kind of become this whole thing about, like we saw in Batman v Superman, where it's like, you know, who is it accountable to, and there's all these kind of like, you know, questions around having someone with those godlike powers, and a fear from the world, basically. And I really can't fault me for that. I know it's very depressing, but yeah, still cool.
For everything.
But yeah, that's my Superman chat over. But yeah, obviously, I don't know if you got this yet, but yeah, Sid obviously was involved with Martha because he's, you know, he's a ladies' man if you haven't got it already. Got a discount holder over here. I like how he just has him around to hold the bags.
I knew a girl back in the day. She was a slave to her fate.
Oh yeah.
Just like you.
Was that it?
I wanted to save her.
But she wasn't mine to save. Is that what he's going to say?
For a while, I even thought I could. But just because you think
I need to think about what's the next sort of thing I'm going to rant about or ramble about next.
I'm no saviour. Just a conceited old fool. Talk about people forging their own futures.
Well, now how old he is.
But instead of handing them the hammer, I beat them with my own.
Probably 40 odd,
And if no bugger wants to listen to what you've got to say,
which ain't old.
might as well
Alright.
keep your gob shut. But Clive, I will say this.
I like his green eyes. That's what the ladies love, obviously, right?
You're not a monster. You're the same man you've always been. Accept that, and you may yet escape your fate.
Hmm.
Wait.
Yeah, going back to Final Fantasy 17.
You've had a hard
I do hope we get something a little bit more kind of colourful over the top. Obviously, after having this game be more muted and its kind of colours and kind of
not be able to say anyone else.
world design and all that. Even though there's some really beautiful areas in this game, yeah, I want to see something more vibrant. Yeah, something closer to, yeah, like I said, a Final Fantasy 13 or,
Sorry we didn't get a chance to talk.
even like a 9 or something.
Take good care of the boy.
Obviously 10 is probably one of the best examples of that. Very kind of beautiful, colourful game. Obviously that game's based on Thailand as well, so yeah.
We best head back
Yeah,
then.
10 is a very special game.
Want to keep Nan waiting.
Yeah, I saw a video of
Ta-ra then.
some lady talking about games she tried playing recently that she didn't like, and she was saying Final Fantasy X was one of them. Like, she just couldn't get into the game. I was like, that really shocked me. She was saying that the story wasn't interesting. I was like, what fucking game did you play? I mean, each to their own, but still, it's like, it's such a great game. Like, that game captured me from minute one. But personally, I think this person just couldn't get past the older graphics, which, I don't know, I've never, like I said, no hate to this person, but I've never understood that personally. Like, I honestly, I think, oh yeah, we got some side quests, haven't we? So, yeah, honestly, I don't mind to look at old games. I never play an older game and complain that the graphics are bad. Like, I understand it's an older game, and that's how they look. You know what I mean? Like, you can't, I don't know, I just think that's stupid. But I've never, maybe it's because I grew up playing from, like, the 16-bit era, and when I got to see the progression of graphics, it's fine for me. So, yeah, I can, maybe, if you started from, like, the HD era, it's probably difficult for you, especially with, like, a lot of more conveniences with games and game design being kind of more streamlined and improved. Definitely, you know, games are definitely designed now, for the most part, to be easy for anyone to play of any skill level, and that really wasn't the case with the old games, I guess. Yeah, so I can understand that, but I really think 10 wasn't like that, though. I feel like the game is quite very linear and easy to pick up and play. Yeah, it's kind of like, it's very intuitive. But yeah, I honestly don't know, like, especially from the opening cutscene when you see Sin attack Spira, like, it's fucking awesome. And then, like, there's this mystery about being, you know, being in the future and all that. Yeah, we'll find him.
Of course.
But yeah, it's a great game.
Have to look out for each other.
But yeah, obviously, sometimes, you know, I've had this before where, depending on your mood and stuff, you know, it can be difficult to get into something. I think your state of mind is a big thing in certain things. Like, I remember for so long I had an issue with Ocarina of Time. Part of that was because people would say it's better than Final Fantasy VII, which used to piss me off back in the day, but yeah. But, you know, I gave it a chance under the right conditions and fucking love it. I think it's awesome. Yeah.
This one's here to help.
Which obviously makes me think of something. Obviously, Analog, we're going to release the Analog 3D this year, and unfortunately we got a message, I think it was just this morning actually, that's been delayed till July now, because it was going to be out this month, I think. Q1, but yeah. I mean, I don't mind. Apparently this is just typical with Analog, but yeah, it's not bad. I've got my version, the white model.
Someone said they saw Norris heading for the gate,
which looks awesome. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, because I never played N64 back in the day. Obviously, I own a PlayStation, so for me, it's like having a whole new console now. I've even bought a bunch of N64 games. Most of the key ones that I wanted. Yeah.
About being played false, I wonder.
Anyway, let's speak to this guy next. Yeah, I want to try to get, you know, I may have explained this already, but with this game, you're going to want to do all these side quests. That's kind of one of the big things about this. You're going to get experience, money, all that. So like, the game is designed around that. So, yeah, this has kind of been a source of criticism of the game, but I personally, I don't have an issue with it, really. Obviously, I got sick of it near the end, so there's a bunch of quests I didn't actually complete when I first played the game, which obviously I'll get to do now. But yeah, it helps expand the world and all that, so I think it's fine. And for the most part, you don't have to travel too far to do these things, so...
But only might have, you understand. There were a lot of bog crabs down there.
Fucking bog crabs, you bastards.
Sounds like I need to break a few shells.
Oh, don't worry.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't eat a bog crab if I was you guys. Like, it would be riddled with parasites. I heard that's the thing with crabs in general, isn't it? I think typically when you buy them, yeah, you want to get them from like clean water and stuff, don't you? And also make sure that they, you know, raised, because I think a lot of these places will, what the fuck am I doing? Will kind of raise their own fish and stuff, right? I don't know. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'll just shut up. But yeah, I just know that these things are, yeah, these things can be riddled with like parasites and shit. So yeah, don't just eat any crab, right? Because like it just makes me think of the episode of Always Sunny when they capture those like shitty crabs, where you know when it's the recession one, and Charlie's like, "We're crab people now." Second boy. Okay. Yeah. These enemies aren't too bad. I really like that they have the kind of the growth on the back. So that's quite cool. It looked like Jill was just kind of like pretending to help there, like shut up, like she's doing something. There we go.
No point spending any more time down here than I have to.
Okay. That's one thing done.
Well, any luck?
Yep.
Yours, I presume.
There you go, mate.
You found it.
Yeah, we've got, you know, a lot of this stuff with the side quests, but it's just mainly little fetch quest type things. Yeah, we also there will be some slightly more involved things. Yeah, but for the most part, it's just kill an enemy or speak to a person and do a thing. But I mean, that's just side quest design overall, isn't it? Really, gaming. Yeah.
There was a time honest tax-paying folk could get new ones whenever they wanted. Can't now, though, not for love nor money.
Bad that, innit?
Scarce, and the Empire tightens its purse strings more every day. Lose this
bloody
little
bastards
again, and I might as well scrap my nets and take to begging.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. Anyway, quest complete. Quest complete. Yes, we get a little bit of experience and some molar. And obviously, yeah, we can only upgrade at the hideout, by the way. So, but anyway, let's go. Well, move. For fuck's sake, like. Yeah, let's go this way. Hello.
You don't know a man called Norris, do you?
I do, as it happens.
Where is he?
He ran off that way, not
Where is he?
Looked like he
Oh,
was
that's my
alright,
Batman
alright.
impression.
And he had a lantern with him for some reason.
In the
Never known him
daytime.
to stay out after dark.
He was making for the marshes then. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, mate. Anyway, so we need to get down there. Can we get there from here? I think so, yeah. Okay.
You barely have to step out your front door.
Shut up, mate. Right, anyway, let's follow around this way.
That's one of our branded. Do we take him in?
Shut up.
You can't have got far. I better keep my eyes peeled.
Okay. Wonder where he is. The bleeding booger. Oh, there's the lantern. I'll have that. Yoink!
A lantern.
Yeah, so there was some other kind of interesting news that I want to discuss now.
At least I know which way
I couldn't think of a good segue. But yeah, so we've recently found out about Microsoft's plans for the future now. The OEM strategy, for example. So yeah, it turns out that the Xbox handheld that we were going to get is in fact just going to be a Xbox-themed ROG Ally. So yeah,
Norris, I presume.
going to be honest, a little bit disappointed. I was kind of hoping, because apparently, you know, I think it was Cerebron was saying that apparently last year they were going to have
That's how you stayed hidden.
a new piece of hardware, which obviously was bullshit. But Microsoft lying is just what you expect really from them, I guess. But yeah, obviously moving forward, it looks like they're going to be doing the OEM strategy, so you're going to have kind of the Xbox brand slapped onto a bunch of devices. So the Asus ROG Ally being one of the first ones. Obviously, I'm assuming this is going to be launched alongside kind of some sort of Xbox OS for PC. So I'm assuming Microsoft moving forward will be basically doing a console mode for PCs now. So to make it controller friendly, kind of play a bit more like Steam OS for the Steam Deck, which I think is a good move for them personally. Yeah, there's really no point them making their own hardware. So, but yeah, it looks like we're going to get a lot of these handhelds. We'll probably get other ones. So obviously we've got the ROG, we've got like the Lenovo Legion, and you know, there's a bunch of other ones. Obviously it won't come with the Steam Deck because you know, you might be able to install it on there, but yeah. Yeah, Steam Deck, Steam OS is the best way to go. Yeah, which obviously I'm assuming these are just devices made specifically for Game Pass people. Obviously, what's annoying is with this being Microsoft's new handheld thing, your entire library is not going to be able to go with you, unfortunately. But like I said, I think they class your Game Pass library as your library now, which is kind of stupid, but it is what it is. You know, Game Pass is kind of what Microsoft is now. You know, outside of being a third party, so obviously, you know, Microsoft's whole thing is, you know, you either buy our games on PlayStation, Steam, whatever, or you get Game Pass. And yeah, obviously you'll be able to access that via cloud or PC. So, and obviously they will be supporting these Xbox systems for a few more years still. Obviously, eventually they're going to just discontinue them, I suppose. Yeah, I think this new ROG Ally thing will be out this year. And then I think over the next few years we'll get like a bunch of like essentially like laptops, kind of, you know, consoleized versions of laptops and stuff. You know, which will be something you can plug into your TV and use with an Xbox controller. Like I'm assuming, like, you know, you'll get like an Asus laptop, unupgradable obviously, but like slapped into a particular box, coming with maybe you know 3 months of Game Pass and an Xbox controller, and we'll probably get more devices like that. And that's kind of their hardware strategy moving forward. Like for them, they just don't want to, after you know spending so much on Activision, Blizzard, Bethesda, all that. They're not going to want to spend billions on hardware that no one's going to buy. I mean, there's still a possibility they may potentially do something. Like, there may be the consoleized version of the Surface tablet, potentially. That, I think, was the original rumor for the Xbox handheld. And yeah, they may have some sort of cloud streaming device, or they may even, like, repurpose the Xbox Series S as some sort of little device or something. Because obviously these current Xboxes can still do cloud streaming, so I wouldn't be surprised if they just kind of sell on, like, redesign the Series S, which has kind of been a hit for them, and use that as their main bit of hardware. Okay, we need to go to this area here next. Not sure we're getting there. Are we getting there this way, right? Yeah. But yeah, I mean that to me makes the most sense for Microsoft, really. And yeah, you know, obviously if I was an Xbox only gamer, I would be annoyed, obviously. But I think the majority of people have either left Xbox or are just, you know, into gaming or into gaming on Game Pass anyway. So, but I think personally, if this is going to be Microsoft's new strategy, just I would say buy your games on Steam from now on, unless it's Xbox Play Everywhere. Then you know, no point. And obviously, your physical library is not going to be able to move over, unfortunately. Maybe there's gonna. I think there may be potentially a way to like kind of add, you know, support for Steam saves potentially. But we'll have to wait and see on that. Obviously, yeah, we're just killing these enemies for. Oh, it's the Adventice. There we go. Yeah, this guy's a bit tough. As you can see, Jill will do some attacking as well. Oh, I thought I was going to be able to stagger him before he was able to attack me. Okay. There we go. Nice. Yeah, we're getting closer. It's on the way anyway. Right. Won't bother with them. Yeah, where is it? Oh yeah, it's on the way. Right. Oh, got some normal folks to fight here. Okay. Let's steal whatever they had there. Right. There we go. Hello, hello, hello. Whoa. Don't know why I jumped. There we go.
Excuse me, I'll use that blade of yours. Curse my luck. I'm branded. No time to haggle with whoever holds your leash.
Yeah, I'm still able to help you.
That's the slumbering chocobo you're wearing. You and the Marthas, are you? Good. She won't begrudge me the use of you then. Not while there's wolves about. We tried dealing with them ourselves. Made out baked, think we might swoop in and slaughter the lot. But we didn't expect the pack to be quite so bloody big.
I expect the blight drove them here. They must have fled their homes for greener pastures.
We'd hoped empty bellies might make them easy prey. But it made them mean instead.
Okay.
There's no fool, so she must see something in you. Do us a favor and get rid of him, will you?
Yeah, sure, I'll do that.
All right. I suppose those wolves pose a threat to everyone.
Hey, that's what I'd wager.
Right. Let's take them on.
When you...
Yeah, so we're going that way, basically. Hey. Beast against beast. It's a bit rude. I'm not a beast.
Look hungry, all right. Hungry and mean.
Oh, that was a fail. Hey!
Get him, boy! Sick him, Togo! Finished!
Gotta find this Bryce and let him know the road's safe.
Yep. Run! There we go. Alright, let's go.
You, Bryce?
What's it to you, bearer?
What's
Your
it to
friend
you,
asked me to
mate?
get rid of the wolves.
Everyone's a bit of a
So I
dick
got
if you've
rid of the
noticed.
wolves.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, that's the plight of a bearer.
The entire pack.
Yeah.
Again, if you didn't, you wouldn't be on this side of the bridge. Bugger me, you're a tough one, aren't you?
Buggeration, mate.
Oh, Frederick. You wily bastard. I never thought to pit beast against beast like that. You served us well, bearer. Be sure to pass our thanks to your master.
Yeah, so, tomorrow we got, bloody another game coming out. We've got Xenoblade Chronicles X finally coming out on, the Nintendo Switch. Kind of one of the kind of the final, Wii U game to come out, which is cool. Really look forward to that. Obviously, yeah, it was
The windmills.
the main reason I kind of set up my Wii U in any capacity. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Apparently, it's added a load of like, the quality of life type changes and all that. And overall, just looks great. Obviously, yeah, another really interesting thing is that now it's like half the size, even though it's improved visually in terms of space. And obviously, one of the most kind of badass parts about it is we now have the bloody that wimble looks
I
cool.
remember coming here with Lord Murdoch when I was young.
We have the
very different place back then.
bloody high quality textures because you had to like download them separately on the old Switch, which is kind of cool or annoying because obviously when they took the store down, you weren't able to download those anymore. Like they weren't like, you think they would have added like a separate disc, but no, you had to actually like basically
Yes.
install these separate kind of texture packs to be able to play it. Obviously because they wanted to kind of they don't want to put it on 2 discs, I guess. Hello?
It's me, Hannah, Rodney Murdoch's wife.
Oh,
Lady Hannah.
who's Murdoch again? I can't remember.
Oh, I knew it was you. You haven't changed at all. The Lord Marquis and Jill too. It's so good to see you both again.
It's good to see you too, Lady Hannah.
Yeah, so with my copy of Xenoblade Chronicles X, I got a little keyring for buying it on the Nintendo store, which is cool.
If you have time, you simply must come back to the house. I haven't much to offer, but what is mine is yours.
Cup of tea's all that I care about. Couple of hobnobs, maybe, a rich tea biscuit,
We should be delighted.
and I'm done. Yeah, that's yeah, that, I don't know if it's a bit of an Asian thing, but yeah, when you have guests around, there's this, you know,
And you have been
there's this kind of expectation to put food in front of them, even if they're not hungry or anything. Yeah, but then there's like there's a little bit of a. It's almost like it's offensive not to eat any of it. Like the least you got to do is give someone a cup of tea, maybe some like little biscuits and snacks or something. But yeah, other times, obviously this is like when I was growing up, going to these relatives' houses and stuff. They would always like they'd give you like curry and like a proper meal sometimes, and like Yeah, sometimes you'd go to someone's house like after you've eaten or something, and be expected to essentially have a second meal, or like, you go there in the afternoon, and they expect to have basically dinner for lunch or something. Yeah, because there's kind of a traditional Asian thing where they expect you to, or you basically have like curry 3 times fucking day for like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which is like way too much in my opinion. But yeah,
You could always move.
we're getting close to time here, so.
This house holds a lot of memories for me. So long as I can live here in peace, here I shall stay.
Yeah, I mean, it's no surprise that
The capital is closed to
a lot of the
civilians.
people, like, as East Asians, or Southeast Asians, sorry, have a lot of health problems later on in life. We eat, like, really oily and bad food, even though the food's amazing.
Yes. Of course.
Oh, forgive me. I didn't mean to...
It's alright.
Please.
We'll punish you later.
There's nothing to fear.
A flogging will do.
Would my mother not make an exception for you and your husband? Surely she would not refuse the Lord Commander.
Does he not realise that his mum was a cunt? I mean, in the nicest possible way.
You haven't heard, then. Rodney passed away on the night of the fire. He never returned from Phoenix Gate.
Uh-oh. You killed him. Don't you remember?
I'm sorry.
Clive.
My poor child. You look pale.
Yeah, we're getting close to time here, so.
I insist you rest.
Right. This cutscene's basically over, so it's. I really didn't think this through, did I?
Are you sure you don't want to sleep inside?
Nah, you'd rather sleep here.
I can't. Not after what I did.
Yeah, you don't deserve to.
Lady Hannah said she would prepare a change of clothes for you in the morning. She really has been very kind.
Too nice. Anyway, guys. As always, thanks for watching. Yeah, I'm going to catch you in the next episode.
Thank you, Lady Hannah.
Where, yeah, sorry, I'm just going to skip this. I mean, these are needless cutscenes anyway. But yeah, alright. Character appearance. Yeah, so Clive now looks a little different. But yeah, he's got this cool looking outfit now, which is awesome. His kind of traditional outfit. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching as always. I'm going to catch you in the next one where we will continue on to wherever we're going next. To Phoenix Gate, that is. It says it right there. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.